So one thing you guys may not know about me is that I love politics. That's what makes this vlog so exciting for me. I got to sit down with a presidential candidate, Dr. Ben Carson. While he was here at our office, he was doing the Dave Ramsey show, so I pulled him aside for about 10 minutes to talk to him about the student loan crisis. So check it out. I have the honor of sitting down with presidential candidate for the 2016 election, Dr. Ben Carson. Thank you so much, Mr. Carson, for being here. Well, the crisis of student loans in America today is a big problem, and we see it's up to $1.3 trillion is now owed in student loan debt. And so I wanted to know your opinion. When you're traveling around talking to people, do you see this subject come up, and are people having major issues with their student loans?
Yes, I've seen it come up several times, and it is a huge issue. A lot of students, when they finish and they have these gigantic loans and they can't find a decent job, they may find a job, but it's not a decent job, and it's not one that's paying much money, and yet they're not getting any forgiveness on these loans. So we have to go back to the root cause of this. 20 or 30 years ago, this wasn't a big problem. Why is it such a big problem now? Because colleges and universities have learned that all they have to do is accept the student. And then the student is eligible for these federal loans. The problem is the federal loan is not at 3, 2, or 1%. It's at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%, which is much higher than the going rate for a loan. And you compound that over a number of years, and you've got a lot of money that you're paying all of a sudden. So what do you do about it? Yes, allow the loan, but make the school responsible for the interest.
What would be advice you would give a senior in high school who's looking to go to college?
College is not a right, it's a privilege. And people used to understand that. There are a number of ways that you can get through that, including an old-fashioned way that unfortunately is a 4-letter word: work.
I could have guessed that, yes.
There was a time when people used to do that.
A large part of my stance is that you can get to school debt-free. If you work hard, you apply for scholarships, you get a job. And do you see that? Do you think that that is possible in your opinion?
Oh, it's eminently possible. Your life is not just those 4 years. It extends way beyond that time. And it's worth a little hard work, a little bit of investment. The average person lives to be about 80 years old now. The first 20 to 25 years, you spend either preparing or not preparing. If you prepare, you have 55 to 60 years to reap the benefits. And if you don't prepare, you have 55 to 60 years to suffer the consequences. So, organize your life early on in such a way that you can work really hard, do what you need to do in order to establish your credentials and set yourself up. And then you're going to be in relatively good shape for the rest of your life.
Fantastic. So my last question is, now seeing the current state of students and where we're heading with student loans, where do you see this problem being in 20 years if something isn't done about it?
In 20 years, this problem and multiple other financial problems, if we don't take corrective action, it's going to lead to the destruction of this country. And this is a topic about which I'm very passionate because, Thomas Jefferson said it's immoral to leave debt to the next generation. And, it's not only this debt that is being accumulated by students. $18 trillion national debt. If you try to pay that back at $1 billion a day, 365 days a year, it would take you more than 50 years. You can't do that to people. And we need to take corrective action now because the longer we wait, the more draconian the measures will be. It's just not fair to do that to the next generation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I so appreciate it. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. Again, Dr. Ben Carson. That was so much fun. Now, for you guys, if you have any student loan questions for me, then comment below.